Go ahead and start recording right now in that case, and we can just get on to the subject of this
Yeah,
particular
the
episode.
subject at hand.
The subject at hand. Welcome to the Loincloth Hour.
A podcast where two nerds, Manicorn and Sid, talk about gargoyles and how hunty they are.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, every episode, before I start it, I always think to myself, are we going a little too far with this, this horny perspective lens onto
Oh,
gargoyles?
like how much can we possibly talk about how hot gargoyles are? You mean?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, how long can we possibly keep this up? It's not like the show was meant to be horny, is it? And then I turn on
Like,
the episode and I see bare gargoyle thighs in my face. I'm like, no, yeah, it is that horny. No,
it's
we're
like
fine.
I keep thinking like we're gonna run out of steam eventually, but like, no,
No,
probably not.
I mean,
I
I
will
don't.
say, okay, this episode, before I sat down and watched it this morning, I think I maybe remembered only like 15% of it. Like, if that. It does not stick in my memory for some reason.
I don't think it aired. When I was watching it, I
Oh,
think I
really?
skipped it.
Yeah,
So
maybe
this
you were
might.
just doing something that day.
Oh, you mean when it originally aired?
Right.
Yeah, no, I was doing something that day. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wait, were you not born yet?
No, it's fine. I mean, I was around in spirit.
Yeah, well, I guess. Okay!
Fine.
This is like our most awkward opening ever. So okay, like, do we have anything to talk about before we go into the episode? We said our intro. We gave our names.
Yeah, you're just uncomfortably veering away from that, huh?
A little
Okay,
bit.
so, I have to say, I was surprised with how much I enjoyed this episode.
Oh
Um,
no,
oh
we
Jesus.
get to disagree again.
You don't like this
We get to
episode?
fight.
You don't like this
I thought this
episode?
episode was garbage. Oh, okay, only because it's about Coldstone, and I don't
Okay,
care
but
about
okay,
Coldstone.
okay, but I saw some really interesting factors about Cold Stone I applied with our lens. For
Okay,
example, now I know that he is not only gender fluid, he is apparently suffering with DID, or a more technical form of it from having been resurrected. But I mean, like all people with actual DID, it
what
stems
is
from
DID? Is that like
oh.
multiple
So,
personality
it's
disorder or
dis-
something?
the proper term for it is dissociative identity disorder,
Okay,
and it's mostly commonly implemented when an individual's undergone an extreme trauma, to whereas they create different personalities to try and maintain their comfort space. And I'm not reading off a page; I just know this off the
right.
top of my head.
Well, yeah, because he went to school for that sort of thing. So
I'm going to
you just know
school, yeah.
shit. Yeah,
I do know shit. Yeah, I'm smarter than
the
what
average
seems the eye,
cat.
more than meets the eye.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, no, I just thought that was extremely interesting. I'm like,
See, that is
okay,
all
so
true, and like, it makes me wonder if the show was like remade today or something. If Coldstone would use like like they them pronouns, because they are like more than one person, as we find out in
they're
this
they're
episode.
they're two
Like literally, they're
people.
more than one
Well,
person.
originally they were three people in one body, but now they're two people in one body. One is a male and one is a female. Um, One seems to be in love with Coldstone, yet constantly wants to fuck Goliath throughout the entire episode. Like, and not to mention, like, there is a point in this episode I wish they did more with, where Coldstone's like female personality comes out, and he speaks with Goliath in a very romantic tone,
I
and it's
didn't
like
notice
still
that.
what? He's still a male in a male body,
No,
and he's
I said I
got
did
a.
notice that.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, you
No,
did.
I did.
You
Note
did.
that.
Okay, you did. Okay, I completely
Sorry.
misheard you. No, you're fine. I just that part in particular stuck out with me, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of liking Coldstone this
Now, do
episode.
you think when the female like is in control that she looks at
Yeah,
her male body and is like, "Oh, I'm gonna do everything to myself right now"? Like,
Imagine being able to. Oh my god. Oh my
okay, first
god.
imagine being straight. Now imagine you're in the body of the opposite gender and you get to like experiment as much as you want.
This is the commonly implemented kink in 90s and 2000s comedy movies.
It
Like,
is, yeah. There's also an
that,
episode of
that
Farscape that does it, which I also like.
I just think of the Scooby Doo movie when Fred was in Daphne's body and he's like, I can look at myself
Oh
naked.
my god.
And he's like looking down his shirt. And it's just, oh my
I do not.
god.
I need to watch that movie again.
It's so. I love that. I love those 2000s Scooby Doo movies. I don't know why. It's my brand.
Well, I love that Sarah Michelle Gellar is Daphne because I love her from Buffy, of
Oh,
course.
yeah. And Iron Bull, aka Freddie Prinze Jr., is Fred.
Wait, what?
You didn't know
Okay.
this?
I see. I knew that he was Iron Bull's voice actor. I knew that he was like an actor or something. I didn't know what roles he'd been in.
That is the only thing I remembered him from until I realized he was both James Vega in Mass Effect and
Oh, nice.
Iron Bull in Dragon Age
Now, okay,
Inquisition.
now I want James Vega and Iron Bull to like hook up and
Dude,
have Freddie Prince Jr.
it's
just voice
so
the whole thing
funny
by himself.
because Freddie Prinze Jr. voices them both, and they're both extremely muscular men.
Yeah, they're both like extreme muscle, like kinky himbo guys.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if calling Iron Bull a himbo. Like I feel like he's sort of a himbo sometimes
No,
when
he
he's not being
is.
cold and calculating. But like
No, I
he
mean,
wants to be a himbo. I think
no,
there
the cold and
is.
calculating part of him it just comes with like that canary, just sort of authority
Yeah.
that they're used to. I think it's like more so just him being in that kind of crowd his whole life, and he's pretty much mastered that kind of trait, and that's why he can be so cold at times. But other than that, yeah, I'd say he's a full blown himbo. I think,
I think that's true
um,
too.
yeah.
Okay, now that we've completely, one, spoiled this episode we're about to cover, and then two, went on like three different tangents, do you want to
Okay,
start talking
well,
about Legion?
yeah, I do. I do. I'm gonna try something more unique and just have like the episode like up while we're talking about it, so like
Okay,
I can have like the frames of what you're talking about in my face, so I can.
so
Because
that
I didn't
sounds
take
perfect.
notes, but
Okay,
this is
well,
like an.
I think I took fewer notes. I hope I took fewer notes than I usually do, because I made an effort this time. I was like, okay, I'm only going to talk about things that like actually matter. We're not going to do another 2 hour episode on Legion, okay? That's
We're
not
not
going to
gonna do
happen.
a 2 hour
Because
episode on
fuck this
Legion.
episode.
I
I
like
hate
this
it.
episode, but I don't want to focus on it for very long.
Okay, so, well, before anything, they do a previously on Gargoyles segment. So,
Yes.
previously on Gargoyles, a bunch of stuff happened with Coldstone.
Coldstone fell in the Wawa,
He fell in
and
the
he's.
water after romantically carrying Goliath, and like making out with him and like
There's
rekindling their romance.
there's another thing I just need to address is that there's always so much like tension between Goliath and Coldstone to where it's like I feel like they could have possibly been a couple at one
Okay,
point. I
like that
just
is
don't
my
know.
headcanon now. Like
Yeah,
from last episode that had Coldstone in, and now this one, I'm just like, no, they used to there used to be something there.
they call each other like Rookery brother, like oh it's
Okay,
Goliath's like
every
quote
time they
unquote
say
brother.
Rookery brother, though, I'm just like, oh my, like they're gonna fucking make out the way they say it. They're like, oh, Rookery brother.
Yeah,
Do you-
I mean, you know,
It's crazy.
yeah, it
Okay,
is crazy. I don't know.
so Coldstone, he's a zombie. He was a dead gargoyle that was merged with machinery by Xanatos and Demona working together. A combination of science and magic, and now
Magic.
he's alive? Question mark. But the last episode he was in, which was his one and only so far, he was left at the bottom of the Hudson River, apparently dead. But as we will soon find out in this episode, he is not quite there yet.
I love how it opens up on him like underwater, like he's just laying there. It's not like no algae or anything has built up around him, and there's
Yeah,
just like
that's true.
fish and stuff.
Because some
Like,
time has gone by. Because when he first sank, it was winter time, and
imagine,
now it doesn't
imagine
seem like it's
how,
winter anymore in this
imagine
episode.
how stinky he must be this entire
Oh
episode,
my
and how they
god.
had to put up with his like ocean scent, like
Okay, but
from.
honestly, I feel like all the gargoyles are probably really stinky by this point. They don't take showers.
Oh
Although,
my
okay, now that
god.
I'm thinking about it, their stone skin or whatever, that's supposed to be like all of the waste product from their bodies
I
whenever they
really
wake
don't
up.
want to think about that.
No, okay, so like all the stone chips that rain off them as they like growl and flex and roar and everything, that's like their shit and sweat that's just popping off. And it rains down on the populace of New York City who are walking down below, and they're like, oh god, they're being pelted by gargoyle poop. Anyway, this is
No.
our Horny Gargoyles podcast, where we talked about sexy things.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Um.
Coldstone. His unmoving body is at the bottom of the bay, but then we get a close up on one of his eyes, and it opens up, and it's like, oh my god, Coldstone's alive.
Oh, wow. I
We
didn't see that
see
coming.
we see a bunch of robot stuff happen, like machinery inside his body, I guess. And there's like a robot voice, and it's like repairing initiated or whatever the hell it's saying. And then we start seeing like visions that Coldstone's experiencing. The first one, we see him like spinning around with a female gargoyle, and there's like romantic music playing. And then the next one, we see a scene of that same female gargoyle. She seems to be like in tears, and she's being comforted by Goliath, who's like wrapping his arm around her, and she's like nestling up to him. And then we see Coldstone is watching all of this from like a vine-covered balcony. This scene is actually quite beautiful, the way it's set up.
But you still hate it though.
I do still hate it, but I can admire the scenery in this one. And then there's another gargoyle there by Coldstone. He looks like Jafar from Aladdin, is how
Yeah,
I usually
like
see him as.
this weirdo fucking like guy, like okay, little finger. Wrong
Yes, yeah,
show.
that's another like of this type of character. And he's all like, "They betray you," and then Coldstone, what the fuck? Yeah, so after that, Coldstone like jumps on Goliath, and they start like wrestling for the female's affections, and also Coldstone was like drooling in this
Okay,
scene.
you want to hear my theory? This is like
Yeah,
some weird cuckold fetish,
it
and
is.
his kink is like just ravenously revenge fucking Goliath for like swooping
Oh
in
my
on
god.
his
Oh, so
girl.
you think he's like into being cuckolded?
Yeah, that's my theory.
I like that because that will make everyone happy in this scenario. So I'm into that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know like this female character, this other gargoyle character, this male gargoyle. Like this is the first time we're seeing them. I guess they're part of Coldstone's backstory now.
With
I don't
his
like them very
backstory's
much.
still kind of unclear, is the thing.
Yeah, because we don't know. Like we can't really trust any of these memories that Coldstone's having, or these hallucinations, or whatever they are.
We don't
Because
know
one,
if this
it's
is an actual like gargoyle. I mean, it is, but it's like it could be
yeah. I mean,
like a man.
it's yeah. It's clearly this is like more like a symbolic interpretation of what happened in the past, maybe. Or it's like what Coldstone is afraid would happen, because he seems to be very insecure with his relationship with this female gargoyle, and he does see Goliath as a threat to that.
You want to know the most confusing part
Tell
is
me.
that Coldstone is not the blue gargoyle. Coldstone is technically, now that we've learned in this episode, the blue gargoyle and the brown gargoyle girl just in the same body. They are both Coldstone. There's a male and a female personality.
Yeah, so okay, so to make this less confusing, these three gargoyles in the past, they do have names. They're not referred to by their name in the show at any point, but they are referred to these names in the script. And Greg Weisman has detailed that like these are the names that like they would choose for themselves if they were given that opportunity. But they're all named after Othello characters. Because the show fucking loves Shakespeare all the time. This is continuing their fascination with that writer. So the guy we've been calling Coldstone, um, I guess his other name we could call him as is Othello. The female love interest to him is Desdemona, which isn't confusing at all when we already have a regular
Oh
Demona,
my
but whatever.
god.
And then the sneaky evil guy, he's Iago, obviously named after the parrot from Aladdin. So,
What the fuck, dude? I love
uh,
this.
okay, but like this, I've never read Othello or like seen it performed, so like this is, I guess this is another thing that like makes it difficult for me to connect to the Coldstone character. Like I don't know how close any of these people are to the classic Shakespeare characters because I don't know anything about that story. If any of our listeners are Shakespeare nerds, like please write in, explain the story of Othello to me, or just like tell me how close these characters match up to their Shakespearean counterparts. Because I don't know. I don't know who the fuck these people are. Um, but yeah, what
I
the
never
hell is
read up on
happening?
Othello either, so I have no input. Okay, we're in the middle of this sequence, the cuckold sequence.
Okay, well, I feel like we got past it. Like,
We're done with the cuckold
yeah,
sequence. He wakes up and then
okay,
he whooshes out of the
yeah.
water.
So, okay, he flies out of Jamaica Bay in a majestic show of light and fire, and he utters the immortal words: "Hear me, X-Men. No longer am I the woman you knew. I am fire, life incarnate. Now and forever, I am Phoenix." Oh wait, that's Jean Grey I'm thinking of.
You really got into that.
Coldstone just says something like "repairs complete, initiating new program parameters, beep beep boop boop," and he like flies away. That's that's what Coldstone says.
It's
So he,
fine.
I assumed he'd be like switching characters at this point. We don't. We stay with Coldstone. He goes to a place called Golden Cup, which, from what we see of it, looks like a robotic weapons development facility. We see a guy with a robot hand who's like crushing stuff and being like, "Yeah, I've got a robot hand and it works really well." And then we see someone else like testing the sweet-looking laser. So they're making cool weapons. Coldstone bursts in through a window and he just starts attacking people like without any explanation as to why. So at this point, I'm like, maybe he's been hacked by Xanatos. Like maybe this is one of Xanatos' like schemes that he's doing. And I believe the end of the episode will go with me on that. Although I'm still a little unclear what the whole plan is here. Uh,
Yeah.
Back at the clock tower, we see Elisa tossing Lexington a headset, and she tells him something like, "You're in luck," because the police are testing out their latest gadget, and he gets all excited about it. So Goliath leans in, he's like, "Testing?" And then Lexington explains, he's like, "Yeah, it's called RECAP, Reconnaissance Emergency Cyber Automated Probe." And they explain that it's basically like a drone, I guess we would call it now, that like the police can control and like steer around and like look through its eyes and shit, which is pretty sweet for 1994. And July's like just decidedly bemused the entire conversation. Like he's in peak dad mode with Lexington, because he just thinks Lexington's enthusiasm is really cute. But just wait until Lex's Dom side wakes up Goliath, because at that point you'll see how enthusiastic he is about like blasting her asshole open at 3 in the morning. But
Oh
where was
snap!
I?
You were explaining a lot about gadgets.
Yeah. Okay, we go back to the Coldstone rampage. He's shooting at guards. He's breaking into a vault. Like no one can stop him. He pops like a knife-like thing out of his arm, and he jabs it into the computer, and then like his robot voice is like downloading files. He doesn't have a USB port, I guess, but he has a knife thing.
Navigating Windows XP.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
Bill
It wouldn't
Gates
even
can
been Windows
suck
95
my
yet.
cock.
It would be some other operating system. But while that's happening, though, he begins like convulsing. Like I think he got like electrocuted or something by the computer, and then his gargoyle half is like back in control of himself. Like he's not like the robot isn't in control. So he's totally confused. He doesn't know where he is. And then people are like shooting at him, so he just like he picks up something heavy and like chucks it at them, and like just tries to get away from
Yeah,
where he
I made
is.
the interesting insinuation of noticing that as soon as his robot counterpart is gone and taking control of him, he immediately goes back into gargoyle battle mode and just does the old-fashioned gargoyle tradition of picking like heavy shit up and throwing it at your enemies.
Yeah, he's going with what he knows.
Yeah, because we see the gargoyles do thing like that throughout the entire series. You know, even every battle sequence you see, they all have their familiar like animation sequences. The circling around the enemy, the grappling, hug attack.
The holding
Just
hands grappling.
yeah, yes. They do that so much.
Yeah, so the
Um,
throwing something heavy is like another of their go-tos that they naturally lend themselves towards.
yes.
Uh, back to the reconnaissance emergency cyber automated probe storyline. Uh, Matt Bluestone is
Oh
here,
God.
our favorite character, and he's putting on a headset. This headset makes him look like Cyclops from the X-Men. I
Yeah,
noticed.
you immediately made that comparison with me.
So
Um,
take a drink every time I make an X-Men reference. This is the second one. We'll see how many more I make. Elisa's nudging him because she's like, "Do you actually really know what you're doing with that thing?"
oh
And
my
he's all like,
God.
"I didn't spend 6 months reading manuals for nothing."
Fucking, he just makes a bunch of donkey noises and puts his stupid shitwear on.
He's
Matt was my least favorite thing about this episode. He was just an inconvenience for the protagonist, and that's all he's there for.
yeah, like until he's on their side, like he's always going to be an impediment, and that will just I think naturally make
Even,
us not like
like,
him very much.
what does he even do when he's on their side? Like, he becomes useless after the point. Like, that, because that was his
Probably.
only plot implement in the show. We hardly see him again.
Yeah, but here.
Thankfully.
I mean, okay, if we could see him back in that locker room again in those powder blue briefs, that would be one thing. But
Powder
he doesn't even
blue
give us that
briefs.
much. Those powder blue briefs of his. So right here, he says some technobabble about virtual reality. I wasn't paying attention here. But like basically
Yeah.
his visor that he's wearing just lets him see what the
It's called the
recapped
Oculus
robot.
VR, Elisa, and with this I can become an awesome Let's Player on Twitch.
Oh my, I just had a horrible thought. Okay, you remember how last episode we were talking about Xanatos would like be selling NFTs to people? Matt
Yeah.
Bluestone would buy NFTs.
Yeah, and Matt would absolutely, without a doubt, buy some Xanatos coin or some Guard coin. Hell, he's gonna invest in Guard coin.
Dark coin. Okay.
I'm going to set myself on fire if that becomes a real thing because of this podcast.
No.
Could you
if
imagine?
it does, I will
swear to
personally
God.
delete every episode we have.
Oh my God, I could not be able to handle that. The Guard coin thing is just a running joke. It's not real.
Please, God, don't make it real. Okay, but so we
I'm
like
praying.
see what the robot is seeing through his point of view now. It's all red tinted. It made me think of the Nintendo Virtual Boy, which for all I
yeah.
know, like might be the inspiration behind this thing. Wait, when did
Isn't the
Virtual Boy come
Nintendo
out?
Virtual Boy extremely limited due to the fact that it caused blindness?
Okay, I don't know if it caused blindness. I know it made people like dizzy and nauseous, I believe.
I heard somewhere that it gave people like retinal damage because of the red lights that are
That
shooting
might
into
be
your
true.
eyeballs.
Okay, the Virtual Boy released in 1995, so it wasn't probably wasn't the impetus behind this episode, but they did both come out around the same time.
Okay.
I had to look it up. Okay, where was I? The drone itself. Okay, so we see it like roll out. It kind of looks like R2D2 to me, but we do see a logo on it that's from one of Xanatos' companies. Like I recognized it. I think we saw it in Awakening. It's like one of his shell companies.
Yeah.
Let's see. Elise has a funny line. She's like, "I just hope you handle that vacuum cleaner better than a squad car." And he says, "How would you know? You never let me drive." Which is probably a good thing, since the one time we have seen him drive, he sucked at it, but
Yeah, no. He just don't just Matt's not even they didn't even want him in the department. They just threw him on Elisa just to get them out of the fucking building because they couldn't deal with him anymore.
They did, like, poor Elisa she's saddled with this guy,
She's
and
like
she
a
can't even do her own
babysitter
fucking
now.
job anymore because of him.
Oh.
Okay, but
Anyways.
somewhere in here, we do finally see that the place they're sending the recap into is the same place that Coldstone attacked. We're at Golden Cup still. And also Goliath and Lex are, like, also here just watching. So inside the facility, the recap robot goes in, it sees Coldstone. It shoots like a tear gas canister at Coldstone, but it doesn't do anything. I don't know why, because like Coldstone still has like eyes and
It's
lungs.
literally this
Whatever.
entire thing with the robot is just for comical effect because it gets destroyed by Coldstone and Matt's all upset about it.
It does happen. Yes.
That's
After
literally you don't need to explain
no,
every
okay,
single
but
bit
there
of
is
what this
one
robot's
sort of
doing.
important thing that happens. So,
Okay,
okay, the other
okay.
thing it tries is it electrocutes Coldstone with like a taser thing that like comes out of itself. It shoots like wires into Coldstone and electrocutes him, which is a little bit more effective, but like not enough because then Coldstone just gets annoyed and like shoots the crap out of it and sets it on fire, which I did enjoy.
Yeah, that was satisfying.
And then
And he
like
like shoots it through the wall and it causes a hole in the wall and then we see that he's on like the top fucking floor of the
yeah,
building.
he just got so mad he just like threw it through the wall after that, and it just lands as like a dumpster fire down below. And like the feedback from the robot getting destroyed like causes Matt pain, which I don't know why that would happen. Like I guess we're in an episode of Evangelion now, where they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it hurts me. I'm part of the machine." Okay,
Yeah.
what else happens? Okay, Coldstone flies away after that, and like literally everyone down there like sees him fly away. So then Goliath, who's there, is like, "Whoa, it's my old fuck buddy. Maybe I can finally get some new dick around here."
He gets so excited when he first sees Coldstone too.
Yeah, he's like my rookery brother with his big half robot dick that I didn't get enough of last time. So,
Dude,
dude,
I forgot what I was gonna say. Just keep going. It's
dude,
fine.
where's my car?
Dude,
Where's your
where's my
car, dude?
I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Okay, so Coldstone lands after a little bit. He's like by the river, looking out over the city. And Goliath and Lexington follow behind, and they land. And oh my god, why am I also like my brain is blanking?
Oh no.
I'm just reading out what I wrote, and I'm still just like I can't even do this. This episode is boring to me. I'm sorry.
Just
I'm
you
sorry.
okay,
It's fine.
you have to
It's
allow
fine.
yourself to skip the little things.
No,
Just
because this isn't a little thing. As soon as Coldstone sees Goliath, he like jumps at him, and they start like gay wrestling.
they
And that's
do. Like he's
like
not even like that's his first impulse when he sees Goliath. I
uh-huh.
guess it's because of the fantasy sequence, but like he does like get on Goliath and like he's not
Uh,
necessarily trying to fight him. I mean he is, but it's like once he
he's
sees
trying to
him,
dominate him.
he's trying to dominate him.
And he's on top. Goliath's all like squirming underneath his rookery brother, being like, "Oh no, he's trying to fuck me again, just like 1,000 years ago, all those times." And he's like, "Oh, stop."
Goliath seems so much gayer when Coldstone's around. Like
Okay,
I'm
every
just
time Coldstone is around, like this is a thing I'm noticing. Goliath goes into like full on like damsel mode.
he
Like he constantly needs to
does.
be like rescued by people around him, like usually Coldstone. But he's just like, oh, like I need a bigger, stronger man to like handle things for a while because I'm so helpless all of a sudden.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't ship it, but like I kind of ship it.
I mean, I ship Goliath with almost every character.
Well,
It's
yeah.
just his vibe.
No, I
Um,
mean, yeah, he does interact with a lot of characters, and he is a he is he's a man. Goliath is a man.
He is a man, and a lot of characters want to dominate men, so they just go for
Yeah.
Goliath first.
There's no hetero explanation for this show.
So at some point, Coldstone like regains control of himself, and he's all like Goliath, and he looks down, sees himself straddling his old rookery brother, both of them sweaty, mostly naked. We've all had days like this, right?
Yeah.
So Lexington is also there. He like introduces himself. He says he's kind of into what they were just doing. Asks if they would mind a third. Um, they don't have an answer. Okay, so basically there's still a conversation. Like everyone sort of like catches up with each other here.
Yeah.
Coldstone is confused.
It's a quick but cute scene. Yada
Yeah.
yada yada.
Like he doesn't know what his deal is, but then the Gargoyles like they pledge to help him, and July's gonna bring him home as his beautiful new trophy wife, and Coldstone is like, I would like that, brother. So they go. There's a really nice rendition of the Gargoyles theme as they all fly back together. I don't know if you noticed this,
I think I
but
did.
like you could like really feel the joy and like how they're accepting Coldstone back into their family. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I did like that scene. It was a
It
good
was
scene.
it was beautiful. Lexington does raise some concerns on the way. He's like, "Are you sure you want to accept the guy who like definitely did try to murder you last time you saw him, like into our clan?" And Goliath does a mic drop. He's like, "Without trust, there can be no clan." So like, there's not a lot Lexington can say to that.
No, I mean it's good.
Just
I think
classic Goliath stuff.
I think it's a good scene where he like shows leadership.
Yes, he's put his foot down. He says, "This is the way it's going to be." And he does hear Lexington out, but then he makes the final decision, and that's the way it's going to be. So let's get back to the clock tower. The first thing that happens, Sid, is Hudson goes up to Coldstone, lays his hands like fully on like Coldstone's buff robot chest, and then they like romantically embrace each other.
Yeah, no, Hudson is very, very smirky and happy when he sees Coldstone.
He's like, my dick is back. Like everyone like just wants to jump on Coldstone and like
My
ride
dick
him.
is back. I don't know why that made me laugh so much.
And Coldstone, he tries to play it cool. He's like, mentor. Like he's trying to like no homo this, but it's impossible. Because
no,
this whole clan is full of gays.
I think mentor is just the label he dubbed Hudson with, since none of them had names, and Hudson was kind of like he was the leader of the clan for a while before.
Yeah,
Goliath
but
took
I feel
over.
like it's like specifically like he was looking for like a non-romantic designation to give him. He's like, what can I call him? Like fuck toy, old dilf. No, mentor. Yes, I'll go with mentor. That's not
Coldstone
gay.
is such a
I like
he's
girls.
such a slut. He's a gender fluid robotic slut.
Okay, what if when Xanatos was bringing Coldstone back to life, what if he like programmed in like a bisexuality algorithm into Coldstone's brain? So now he's into fucking Goliath.
I want to
Just like
shake Xanatos' hand for being the man who invented a bisexuality algorithm.
just like a little nudge here, a nudge there, and now Coldstone wants to fuck Goliath.
Yeah.
That's part of Xanatos' goals to to make Goliath into like a submissive man.
He wants to
goddom.
dominate them, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not giving you a lot to work with, am I?
So Coldstone's all like, "Oh, it does my heart good to see you survive. There's only one I've missed more." But as soon as he starts remembering this person, which I'm assuming is Desdemona, his old girlfriend, his eyes start to flicker red, and then it's like, like we're back to this shit again. So this time it's a new personality. She seems very confused. She doesn't know where she is. She does recognize Goliath. She's like, "My leader." And Goliath's
I'd
all
like-
like, "Are you all right,
I'd like to keep in mind that the whole time the female personality takes over, we are hearing the male person like Coldstone. We're seeing and hearing Coldstone as a man still,
Yeah,
but
and like it's still Michael Dorn's voice and everything.
yeah, it's still
but, like,
Michael Dorn's, but he's
But
now
it is
playing
clearly
a
a
woman.
different person.
Yeah, and I
Michael Dorn's
love
a really good actor.
I love just like the subtle play on gender that's in this scene.
Yeah, because Goliath asks if he says like, "Are you all right, brother?" And she's like, "Brother," and then she realizes like her voice is deeper than it usually is, and then she goes and sees her reflection in the TV screen. She freaks the fuck out. I think she just like screams because like
Yeah,
not
because
only is she her old boyfriend, but her old boyfriend is like an unholy mix of flesh and machine. She's like a
yeah.
scary. He's like a Frankenstein monster, basically. Is what they
Yeah,
usually
no,
go into.
I mean, like they had that whole like mirror with the curtain scene, in the fucking original Cold Stone
Yes.
episode. So now it's like we need to revisit that again, but with not only not your
Mm-hmm.
original body, but you're also a Frankenstein.
Speaking of Frankenstein, the title of this episode, Legion, I believe comes from the
Yep.
first Frankenstein movie.
Wait, what?
Because, okay, so Legion refers to a passage from the Bible
Yeah,
where
that's where it comes
where
from, I
Jesus
think.
Christ, I think he's like possessed by a demon or something, but when asked his name, he says, "My name is Legion, for we are many." But that same line was used in the movie adaptation of Frankenstein that Greg Weisman had seen. So I believe that's why it's titled
Yeah,
this episode, because Frankenstein is
yeah,
also composed of many bodies, just like
yeah.
Coldstone is.
That's pretty much where it comes from.
Yeah, some
And
trivia.
there are a lot of legions in media that refers to this particular passage. It's common where it's like there's a multi-organism kind of individual where it's like multiple smaller individuals controlling like a larger avatar are usually referred to a legion in media when it
Mm.
comes to those kinds of characters. Like
My favorite Legion is the Legion boss from Castlevania, which is a bunch of naked bodies that you have to slice through and kill to get to the core.
that's interest. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's like my favorite boss from that game. It's so good.
My favorite Legion is Legion from Mass Effect, who gives
Oh.
Shepard a lot of insight on not only the Geth's history, but provides this very like this sympathetic perspective lens for the player on their perspective on the Geth as they are, because it's like up until now they've been like killing Geth to stop the Reapers and everything, and then it's like you
Right.
realize that the Geth aren't really working for the Reapers. They're just a manipulated tool for the Reapers. They actually have
Oh.
thoughts and feelings and personalities.
And that complicates everything.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
I see.
yeah, very just strong like figurative character for the Mass Effect series.
So that's Legion, everyone. Uh,
Yes.
what was
I'm
happening? Okay,
sorry.
right. So Desdemona is freaking out. She flies like the fuck out of the clock tower. Goliath and Hudson follow after. But meanwhile, Lexington stays behind. He's working on a theory. He's like, I think something's wrong inside Coldstone's like robot brain, and maybe he can solve that. Because Lex gets to be smart this episode, and I like it. Outside, Coldstone's flying over the bay. He's going towards the Statue of Liberty. Goliath and Hudson are following. Goliath can't quite catch up because his humongous pecs are giving him too much wind resistance.
Yeah.
Well, then
One of
Coldstone's eyes, they flash red yet again, and he just drops straight down. He lands on Ellis Island. Uh, just like, okay.
Yeah, like New York, everybody.
New
I'm walking here, am I
I'm walking
right?
it. Goliath and Hudson lay land too. Then the camera focuses, like, for a very long time on Coldstone's taint.
Yeah, it
This is,
does. Like we're looking between his legs. I can
and
see
they're just
where his
wide open.
balls
He's, like,
come
lying on the
from.
ground. And yeah, we can see most of his speedo doesn't really cover very much.
No, I feel like I could kind of like fit my head between them and like
What would you
just
do if your head was between his legs? What's the first thing you do?
uh please leave a message after the beep.
Cool. So you'd beep like Coldstone does. He goes like beep boop
Yeah,
boop boop.
that's what the robots do. That's just how I. That's how you fuck a robot.
Okay, so right as he's laying there, like just sort of groggily, being like, then another personality takes over. And this one seems much more evil than the others we've seen, because he gives like a very evil smirk. And he's like, and Goliath is like, what's wrong, brother? Because he just like fell out of the sky. And then Coldstone says, why, nothing, brother. And at that point, Hudson is like, okay, well, this guy is obviously evil. But
Yeah,
Goliath
like
is just like, no, it's fine, because I trust you, because you're my brother. And then Coldstone's like, do you? Pity. And then he, like, shoots his laser cannon at Goliath.
and then we cut to commercial breaks.
We do cut to a commercial. Goliath slams into a light pole. And then, okay, at this point, his legs were like, wide open, too. We've seen, like, 2 taint shots in, like, under a minute. And he's like, you betray my trust? And Coldstone says, you were a fool to extend it. So now Goliath's pissed, because he's got that betrayal complex still, and, like, the fight's on.
And it's like Hudson and Goliath both do that thing where it's like they circle around their enemy.
Oh, yeah, they're
It's
like,
it's like dogs preparing to fight.
I was gonna say a herd of horses. Because when there's a predator, don't they all just, like, stampede around each other? Is that horses?
I
Or
don't.
zebra, maybe?
I've never seen like a stampede of horses just like circle around. Horses can't even walk sideways?
Well, no, they're not going sideways. They're
That well,
running in a
Hudson and
circle.
Hudson and Goliath are going sideways.
Oh, okay. Well, they're doing what
They're
horses
they're
can't
locked on. They press the R3 button and they locked onto their enemy.
do. Meanwhile, back at the Golden Cup storyline, Matt's saying, oh yeah, like the shadow they saw flying away, he's like, it looked exactly like the last one I saw. Said he's crawling with them. And Lisa just fucking, like, ignores him, which did make me laugh quite a bit. But then she gets a call from Lex in her earpiece. So she's like, hey, Matt, since you suck so much, why don't you just take some statements over there and get away from me? So he does that. And then there's a quick conversation where she and Lex, like, they just exchange info. He tells her that the gargoyle that they saw is Coldstone, which she sort of already knew. And then she tells him that, okay, Coldstone was stealing data from the computers at this government weapons facility place. But while he was doing that, he got infected with a government, like, made computer virus that, like, infected his cybernetics. And Lex is like, oh, well, that explains why he's been acting like such a weirdo since we saw him. So that'll happen. Back at the fight, Goliath and Hudson, they're fighting Coldstone still. They get to do some sweet teamwork here, because Hudson, sort of like with Wolverine and his claws, he does actually, like, attack shit with his sword, like, if it's a robot at least. So
A lot is happening.
a lot's happening. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I keep losing my
No,
train of thought.
there's a lot of exposition. You're getting through it.
I'm just getting through it. I'm like halfway through. We're almost there.
Yeah.
If halfway through is almost. So,
I
but
believe
okay. So
in you.
Goliath
Take a
has to
drink.
like wreck him for a little bit with teamwork. Well, then Coldstone's
Yeah.
eyes they flicker, fucking again. So it's back. It's back to his regular, normal. So I guess Othello we'll call him. So he doesn't know why Goliath's attacking him. He's like, whoa, like, what's this all about? And Hudson's all like, it's a trick, fucking kill him. But Goliath is like, no, because he actually is just acting weird right now. So this Coldstone, like, he doesn't remember anything since blacking out back at the clock tower. And also his head is hurting, and his eyes start just, like, he starts cycling through, like, every personality he has. There's, like, his main one, the female one who's all like, oh, leader, like, I don't want to hurt you. And then, like, the evil one who's like, let's murder him. And the other two are like, no, don't murder him. So, like, they're fighting with themselves, basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of internal struggle, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and Goliath's just like, what the fuck is going on with you? Above, we see the trio, they're flying, because Lexington is now, like, equipped with stuff to maybe solve this problem. And they're like, well, how are we going to find them, though? Then they see all this like laser fire erupting over at Ellis Island. They're like, oh, well, that's probably where everyone is. So they go over there. Coldstone's freaking out because, like, none of the personalities can, like, they're all fighting each other. So he's just, like, lashing
Yeah.
out at anything that moves, it looks like. Broadway gets to be the big man this time. He like rams into Coldstone in the air, and then like they both fall to the roof. Where Broadway like sucks his dick so hard it like subdues
Yeah, there's
Coldstone
a
one enough.
frame. There is a frame where it looks like that's happening. Um, I would also like to compare Coldstone's current episode as a potential DID episode that can happen when they're under extreme stress, where they
Yes,
just I believe they do cycle through their personalities sometimes, but I'm not an expert, nor do I know anyone with this disorder, so I can't say for sure.
I've seen it happen in movies, and I mean movies never get mental disorders incorrect in any way ever.
Yeah, yeah. Like, remember when M. Night Shyamalan cashed in on DID and then made Split and made it out to be like, oh, DID personalities are so special they can access like demons from other planes.
What?
And
I've never seen this movie.
what with James McAvoy as
Oh,
freaking the guy.
Professor X was in it.
Yeah, he's the main character. He's the guy with all the split
Oh,
personalities.
cool.
And
I,
he's like, there's like 23 of them. He's like a young boy, and then he's like a woman making sandwiches and stuff like
ooh,
that.
I would love to see Professor X as a woman making
Yeah, no, he
sandwiches.
does a great job in that movie. It's just the movie's very problematic.
Yeah, I like him a lot as an actor.
Because the movie's like about like a man who kidnaps three teenage girls and he's got 23 split personalities.
That's a lot like Legion, who is also the name of an X-Men character. He's Professor X's
Oh my
son, who
god.
also
Were
has
we
split
just talking about
personalities.
Legion?
Yes, but this is also the name of a character, and each of his split personalities has a different mutant power. So, like, if he could ever get his brain like under control or like unified or whatever, he would probably be the most powerful mutant because he sort of has like every power there is. But usually he's locked away in a mental institute or something, you know, because it's X-Men and Xavier's a really good dad.
Yeah.
Okay, what the fuck is happening? Right. Okay, Broadway was sucking Coldstone's dick. Okay, right.
Mm-hmm.
But so eventually, so everyone comes up, and Coldstone's like been subdued basically, and now Lexington sticks a wire into Coldstone's neck,
Yeah,
and he's like,
this is the part where I had to just kind of like nope out a little in my mind and just try to immediately repress is the fact that Cold Stone has a fucking headphone jack in his neck.
what did Xanatos give him this for? Like to plug his iPod into? Like,
I I don't know. It's weird because it's not there in any other scenes.
it's only there for this one, yeah. But okay, so he's wearing the headset from before that was gonna like that's used with like the recap system, so it's gonna be like the same sort of VR thing, I guess, and he's gonna jack Coldstone off. I mean, jack in to his brain or something like that.
I think it would make more sense if they put a headphone jack in like his technical body parts rather than his fucking just jugular.
Like his asshole.
Oh my god.
So you have to like plug your iPod into his butt. Is that what you meant?
I I didn't, but I mean,
What did
you
you
know,
mean?
I just meant like maybe it would make more sense if like he had one like in his robot eye or like around his robot eye or just any kind of cybernetic like part. But
Okay.
then you went to another place and I'm like, okay,
I'm gonna do what I do.
already did it. You just don't even realize it.
I do it 24/7.
Oh
Uh,
my
Back
god.
at the police van,
You
we see another
whore.
Matt Bluestone scene. He's like flipping out because somebody stole all his recap gear or whatever, like all the hookup stuff for his robot toy. And Lisa's like, yeah, too bad, because she doesn't give a shit. And also, she's the one who stole it, but she's just like, yeah. Um, then Matt tells her though that the stuff has like a homing beacon inside it, so he's gonna like follow to whoever stole his stuff, and he's like, and I bet I'm gonna find a gargoyle at the end of this.
We're
And
near the end of the episode, Elisa. We need some tension for the
I know.
finale.
And then she's like, oh fuck, because they're gonna find out their secret that they're gargoyles. um, we go back to Ellis Island. Lex is really annoyed because like he wants to be the one to like enter Coldstone, if you know what I mean. But Goliath's the one who's like, no, I'm fucking my boyfriend. I'm the only one with a dick that Coldstone will respond to. Like, Lex, you just don't have what it takes yet.
Coldstone, let's dock dicks. We're gonna get you out of there, buddy. A little tighter around the shaft, please. Fucking, and it's like, just the fact that Lexington utters the line that someone has to go inside him. I can't.
Deep inside, as deep as you can go. So Goliath's all like, well, I'm a service top. Like, this is what I'm for. So I will. It's my duty to do this. I'll fuck Coldstone as hard as he needs in order to get him off.
Yes.
So, alright. So, they, like, get hooked up to each other. Goliath's wearing, like, the Cyclops visor now. And then Lexington presses a button, and then both Coulson and Goliath start, like, glowing. Like there's electricity around them, which I just thought was, like, the episode's, like, stupid way of being like, oh, this is what technology looks like. But actually, no, it's actually magic is also happening here, which they established, like way later after this.
They're charging their batteries. That's all.
Yeah, but they're both glowing now. The gargoyles are like, okay. And this is when the episode gets super psychedelic, and the animation's like off the hook. I do like this part too.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we see Goliath. He's in like sort of like a featureless void. It's only him. There's a purple sky full of thunderclouds, and there's like a floor beneath him that's like a grid. And then there's also the castle there. There's Castle Wyvern. And then the ground opens up, and like beams of light start shooting out. And then there's also tentacles coming out of the ground. And then the ground is like lava. Lava? Or it's like fire. It's made of fire now. And there's a whirlpool. There's tentacles coming out of the whirlpool. They're grabbing like bits of the world and like dragging them down into the fiery whirlpool. Like things got crazy.
It looks like the Nightmare Realm from Bloodborne, but much more like Castlevania medieval, like 8-bit computer 90s window.
It's like a Windows 95 version of like hell, I guess. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I love it though.
But there's like a bridge appears over the pool of lava, whirlpool of fire, or whatever. And then there's like another insane shot where the camera goes over the bridge, and then like to the castle, and then up a tower, and then we see like the three gargoyles from the past. We see Othello, Desdemona, and Iago, all up there, and they're all stone. And then there's a strike of lightning at the tower, and Xanatos is there. He's on the tower. I forgot he was in this episode until the moment he showed up, and like...
Yeah, like...
If you were watching with me, and if you could have heard, like, my howl of delight at just seeing Xanatos here... can you describe the outfit he's wearing?
Okay, so... What was it I called it when you first showed me
I think you said he worked for a circus. I think is what you told
Yeah,
me.
hold on. Let's see.
It's like purple and pink and blue.
He looks like a circus performer, is what I said. He looks like a Power Ranger almost.
He does, yeah. Like I think it's supposed to be reminiscent of like knightly armor, but it's like both fantasy and sci-fi at the same time. It looks bizarre. He looks like just a bizarre, weird person, which is how Xanatos should always look. Anytime he shows up anywhere. Man. I love him so much. And he says, like, well, surely you didn't expect to explore Coldstone's mind without my permission. So it's amazing.
He's my hypnodrone. You
Yeah,
can't
like
have
surely you
him,
didn't expect to
Goliath.
explore Coldstone's butthole without my permission. I get to press his pleasure sensor.
Oh my
So,
god.
okay, July's still like, why the fuck are you here? And so Xanatos explains he's not Xanatos. He's merely a computer program designed by him. And by him, I assume he means Owen. Or like, someone
Yeah,
else who Xanatos
definitely
paid to do
not
this.
Xanatos. Like, come on. Come
But like
on.
he claimed credit for designing this program, and I'm just like, okay, sure.
Oh my god.
So then he gives some insane speech. He says, let's see, Coldstone is created by a combination of science and sorcery. The magical energy has merged with the cybernetic systems that make up his mind. My primary directive was to enslave Coldstone to Xantos' will, but the computer virus has stopped me. As you can see, it's slowly devouring everything. So, during all this, like, we see the tentacles, like, taking things, like, they're the computer virus, I guess. And also Xantos gets, like, really big. Like, he's bigger than the castle, and he's, like, see-through. So, like, I guess he's, like, a
Yeah.
projection. Like, there's crazy visuals
There's a
happening all the
lot
time.
going on.
And then you see tentacles, like, slowly getting closer, like, to Goliath, because they want to fuck him. We're going into
Yeah.
tentacle wraith mode here.
Yeah,
And, like,
we
Goliath, like,
are.
barely escapes. He ends up sprawled with his legs, like, really wide open again, and you can see all of his body. And then Xanatos appears, like, right next to him, like, smirking, and be like, careful, you may be next. And then Goliath roars, he, like, tries to tackle Xanatos, but he's just a hologram, so he disappears, and, like, whatever. We do see Goliath's ass pretty well here. I do think it's funny that Xanatos, like, programmed this program, like, with his own personality, which includes his need to, like, sexually humiliate Goliath, like, at
Yeah.
any possible point he can.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that's
that's
just
that's a must. That's always a must.
yeah, you gotta put that in just in case Goliath hacks into Goldstone's brain at any point. Uh, so okay, so then we go back to the three gargoyles who were turned to stone on top of the tower. Now they all come to life. Um, Othello seems really weak for some reason, and Iago, like the jerky one, is strong. He's all like, "Let me help you, brother." And then Desdemona, she just flies down to Goliath because she's like, I don't know what's going on over there. Like, I'm
She's
gonna
very
go to the person
she's
who naturally
drawn
helped us.
towards Goliath like throughout the entire episode, and not
Yeah,
Coldstone. But she claims she's in love with Coldstone.
like it is unclear if she and Goliath ever did have a thing together. Like I
It's
feel like they did from everything in this episode.
him, Coldstone, and Desdemona were a throuple until Demona stole him away.
Like maybe that happened, or like I like it seems like I don't know. Like I feel like Coldstone's jealousy is like very real to him. It's like I don't know if they were a throuple. Like maybe he and Goliath were dating first, and then like he and Goliath like they went their separate ways. They're like, oh, like both our dicks are too big for each other, like to bottom comfortably. So we're gonna go like and find other people for a little bit. So that's when Coldstone started going out with Desdemona. But then Goliath and Desdemona also like sort of had a thing, and then Coldstone got jealous. Like I feel like maybe that's what happened. I don't know because we never really get like a full story of what happened in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really like clear if this is all just in like I mean, Coldstone's a singular body, and mind is something you have to remember.
Yeah,
But like, is it these other parts and spirits manifesting themselves to cope with the fact that he's now in the position he's in? Are they there because this
chest
is
down,
how
hands
he?
up.
This is, yeah.
Oh, you meant a
Okay.
different position.
Um, like just the condition of him being a Frankenstein like person,
Right,
or
right.
is this like genuinely like this is from? You can't tell if it's from the past or it's just like him like conjuring this and as a coping mechanism
Yeah,
is what
or
I'm
like
saying.
projecting his fears or something.
Like
Or like we
there's
don't know like if how much of it is also like just Iago is making because he's been the one who's like whispering in Coldstone's ear all the time, like, "Oh, she's betraying you. She's fucking your best friend. She's gonna
I
think his
don't
dick is
even
better than yours."
understand why they have Iago if they already have Xanatos trying to wean him the other way.
I don't know because actually like okay. So as Desdemona goes down to Goliath, Iago does start doing this shit to Coldstone, being like, "Oh look, she's betraying you," and then Xanatos also gets in on it though.
Yeah,
Because he's all
like
like, yeah, just like she did 1,000 years ago. And I'm like, why are you both doing this? Like, why? Xanatos, why? Like, how does this help your goal? Of, like, I don't understand.
there's a lot of mind games going on.
Like, I feel like he's just addicted to drama. And, like, he doesn't really, like, even really have a goal at this point. He's just like, I just like making people fight each other.
Yeah.
That's all that he wants. Okay, I need to find my place again. Where was I? Another thing I did notice when Desdemona goes down to Goliath, he like embraces her. He's like, "Oh, Rookery sister, I'm so glad to see you." And then she does have a reaction there where it's like, "Oh, we shouldn't be hugging each other," or get off me a little bit. Just like she sort of like pushes him away a little.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that either means like there is history between them, and she doesn't want to like go down that road again, or she's just aware that Othello like is insecure about their relationship, and she doesn't want to like give him more fuel for that fire. So she's just like, let's not do this in front of him. Does I'll have to hear about it all fucking lifetime about again. So he's like, okay. So she explains. So like this is the first time we get the explanation of what's going on. So when Coldstone was recreated and brought back to life by Xanatos and Demona, pieces of not just one gargoyle were made, but actually three gargoyles. There's
Yeah.
Othello herself and Iago. So the way she puts it, like all three of their souls are now trapped in the same body. And I guess they like swap who's in charge every once in a while. So like to me, none of this was even hinted at in like the previous appearance, but I'm just like, okay, I guess this is our lives now, where we have to deal with like not just the boring Coldstone character, but also his two boring friends who are also in there with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Iago and Xantos like both sort of make fun of him for being such a fucking cuck, Coldstone like swoops down, he punches Goliath in the face. He's like, "Get your hands off my woman!" And they start doing like one of my least favorite tropes, which is like two men fighting over the same girl, and they're both gay. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But Goliath ends up like falling. He's going towards like the lava whirlpool down below, and he digs his claws into the wall to like catch himself, and he starts climbing back up. Then some tentacles grab him. Things become sexual. Back in the real world, Goliath is like moaning, like in a sexual way, and Lexington is like sort of into that.
He's having intense VR sex with
Yeah, he is.
Coldstone. I mean, technically, that's what's happening.
Then while everyone's sort of like watching him, and like like the front of their loincloth start to bulge a little bit, they get a call from Elisa, who is like actively on a speedboat with Matt. They're both heading towards Ellis Island, like with a whole SWAT team behind them.
And for
Like,
some reason, Matt kind of looks like the bully from Toy Story from the angle we're
oh
shown
my
of him.
god. You just see an angle of him like head on, like with the wind in his hair going towards you. I got vibes of Cruella de Vil.
Wait, okay, but like my question is, why the fuck did this man get an entire SWAT team to find this one piece of gadget?
I don't know. It's like all
Where
like,
did
all
he
that
get the
happened
authority
is
for
that his
that?
N64 was stolen, and he got a whole fucking SWAT team. This is crazy to me. Like, there's like
I know.
5 boats, helicopters. Like, there's so
He
much.
had to be written up or reprimanded for this afterwards or something for wasting so much fucking manpower on a little
nothing.
gadget. On
Yeah.
nothing.
So like the Gargoyles, they try to like unplug Goliath because like they were just trying to get the fuck out of there, but like they all get shocked by electricity because its magic somehow is also a part of this. So they can't leave. So then their only option is to like they'll buy Goliath some time then by killing a bunch of cops, I guess. Back in cyberspace, it's just full on tentacle porn. They keep grabbing Goliath. They're pulling his loincloth off. They're, you know, one, two, three, four of them at a time, going up his asshole, in his mouth, every orifice.
It's an interesting episode where it's like you have to usher the sentence back in cyberspace. There's this tentacle porn, and it's just like that's so fascinating in itself.
I'm just giving a play-by-play of
I know.
exactly what happened.
I mean, hey, you are honoring the episode's integrity very well.
Yes, I am. So Goliath's getting fucked, but he powers through it. He climbs up to the top of the wall, like while the tentacles are inside his ass, only for Coldstone to just like kick him in the face, and he just falls again. And then like at this point, Desdemona's like, okay, like he needs some help. She dives down to grab Goliath and keep him from being dragged into like the fiery pit of like demonic cyber hell or whatever the hell is going on.
The virus or whatever that
Yeah.
Xanatos mentioned.
At this point, like half the castle has disappeared. Like we do get an amazing wide shot of like the landscape here, and like half the castle's missing. Like it's being eaten away. Like it's beautiful and crazy. More tentacles come. They grab hold of Desdemona, so like they're both being grabbed. Like she's getting in on this. Then Othello flies down, and he just likes talking shit. He says, let's say, I wrote down the conversation. Do you think me blind? I know why you come to his defense. And she's all like, yeah.
I like how when he swoops in, he's like, "Do you think me blind?" Like, it doesn't sound like he's being formal. It sounds like he's just some caveman talk right there. Do you think me blind? Me no blind. Me see
no
perfectly.
blind. Oh my god. And she tells him, my love for you is eternal, and Goliath is not your enemy, but your brother and true friend and fuck buddy. And then she points at Iago. He has deceived you. He set you against Goliath, as he tried to 1,000 years ago. Try
The
to
evil
remember.
man, the evil little man that's been whispering into your ear, he's the one that's betrayed you. Not
Exactly.
me.
And he's all like, my memories are clouded. Why should I trust you? And then she does her own mic drop here. She says, if you can't trust me, then trust your hearts. And it's like, oh, so okay. At that point, Coldstone does have a change of heart. He's like, I am going to save my
The Care
girlfriend
Bears
and my
come out and
boyfriend.
start dancing.
Exactly. He saves Goliath from being ass raped because he's going to ass rape him later on. So he needs to like save that ass for himself. He
lot
like
of
pulls
ass
them up.
going
They
on.
all agree Iago has been the one very obviously manipulating him the whole time.
Yeah.
And then things get
Oh my
even more
god.
fucking
Oh
insane.
my god. I can't even.
Okay. A giant arm, like, comes out of the castle and grabs Desdemona. It's Iago's arm. Iago is the castle. Like, the castle, like, reshapes itself into his giant body now. And then he also merges with an equally giant Xanatos. So I guess
Oh
he
god,
merged
that
with,
part's
like,
so weird!
it's crazy! So I guess, like, he's merging with, like, the cyber brain.
Him and Xanatos are having like self-reproductive masturbation together in the virtual world.
Yeah, which, like, granted, hot.
My wind chimes were just twinkling when I was saying that because I couldn't handle it and I hit my desk and like my wind chimes were twinkling.
Iago basically looks like Jackal from the pack, like if he were a gargoyle, by the way. I don't think we ever
He
bothered describing
does,
what he looks like.
but he's also got like the one gay earring like
he
Jafar
does have
has.
the one gay earring!
Yeah,
Yes, it looks like a
he's just
earring.
another gay-coded Disney villain.
Yeah, like one of
He likes-
hundreds that this show will
He
have.
likes pitting men against each other and watching them fight, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh yes, all according to plan." And he starts jerking off to it like some kind of freak.
But the funniest thing here is that, like, he starts hitting on Desdemona. He's trying to, like, no homo himself, despite being, like, the gayest character in this episode. And he's like, no, actually, I want Desdemona for myself, and I wanted Coldstone and Goliath to fight each other so that I could have her. And it's like, dude, like, no, you wanted them to wrestle so you could jack off while you watch, like, gay porn of them. Like, shut up. But Goliath and Othello, like, they fly at him, and then he steps on them with his really big foot, and they just, like, grunt and, like, wiggle underneath his foot. Did
Macro
you notice that part?
fetishists eat your heart out. I swear, this episode and this part in particular is especially for you, macro fetishists.
Like, yeah, you got a few nice minutes here. And then he picks them up in his giant hands, and like now he's holding everybody. And he's all like, "Merge with me, sister," he says, extremely sexually. Then we can finally be together, as I always knew we should be.
If merging with people like makes you have sex with them, does that mean when he was merging with the virtual Xanatos, he was having
Yes,
say, okay, I gotcha, cool, just
yes,
making
it
sure.
does.
I'm just making sure. I thought so, but it's like now this is confirmation. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. I mean, Xanatos, he's not against having a little cyber sex from time to time.
I think he would easily get off the online roleplay.
That's probably how he and Fox first met each other. They were
I could
in
see
like
it.
they were in what's that one chat room?
Uh,
E621 or
that's the furry porn website.
well, that's probably where they met, knowing the two of them.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
probably where
god,
they
she had
met.
her Fox Sona, and he
Yes.
what's Xanatos' persona?
It's a gargoyle. It's literally we seen his gargoyle persona, his gargsona when he was riding around in his like cybernetic
So he's
Goliath.
always been to Gargoyles, even before he had brought them back to life. He's just always
Like
been into
he,
them.
he enters the chat room and he's just like, I am Xanatos, but I have the strength of a very strong lavender gargoyle
Oh my god, he's lavender colored.
because he's Goliath.
Oh, right.
He roleplays as Goliath, but with
Oh
his
my
mind.
god. Oh my god.
Like a smarter. He's basically Thaylog in his RP chat rooms, and he's like, I wonder if I can make this Sona to life. He first tried with the robot suit, and then eventually he had a love baby with Goliath, and they had Thaylog together.
Xanatos is the furry that we all aspire to be. Like,
Yeah.
imagine being able to
He's
work
like the
such magic
Elon
as
Musk
this.
of furries.
Oh my god, please don't compare him to Elon Musk.
We did that in literally his first appearance.
I know, and I hated it. Okay, back in Meat Space. We
He's
see the
opening up
helicopters.
Garcoin.
Huh?
It's fine.
Helicopters are coming to Ellis Island. Suddenly, they all veer off course because Brooklyn and Broadway are like handing off the bottom of them and like pulling them away. And Hudson's doing the same thing down by the boats. He's like handing off the back of one of them, and he holds his sword out into the water. And like, I guess this acts like a rudder. Is that how rudders work? I don't know. I don't know about boats. Sure.
Dude, I think Hudson's ass can like steer any boat. You know what I'm saying?
The gravitational field of his ass.
That's literally isn't that what he's doing? Let me look at the clip really quick. Let me verify.
Yeah,
Okay.
please do.
So yeah, they merge and then like a bunch of weird robot bullshit happens and then what part is it? Okay, so yeah, that's where they're like, oh, we have to delay them. Yep, okay, and then they're flying. Okay, so this is, well, they're fighting Iago.
Hmm.
The Macriago. I can't find it. Okay, but like, let's just assume he's using his ass to steer the ship from behind.
That works for me. And Matt's all like, "What's going on out there?" And Elisa just like shrugs her hands, like,
Oh my
"I
god,
don't
I didn't even
know."
notice this, but Iago is wearing Cold Stone's outfit when he's all macroed.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Cool. Maybe
Like-
Coldstone is actually wearing Iago's outfit then.
No, Cold Stone's just wearing Cold Stone's outfit. Or just like before he was Cold Stone.
Okay.
Oh, maybe Iago's like a manifestation of the mechanics that are controlling him.
Yeah. Okay, we're back in VR. There's more insane camera angles. Desdemona is like, she's being coerced into like falling in love with him, and she's like, "How about I don't do that?" And she just like bites his hand like a boss.
Oh yeah.
So like that was. I do like Desdemona in this episode. I wish she got
You said
more.
she was boring.
Like, she is boring because she doesn't get enough. Like, she's mostly relegated to just being, like, the generic love interest. But she does seem like a strong person. And, like there is something going on, like, other than just being the love
She's
interest. But
like
we just don't get to see it. And I don't think we ever
she's
really
like the
do get to see it in the
rational
show.
sense of trying to bring Coldstone back to like normality, and she's like the guide. She represents like the guys against the personality that is supposed to sort of be the comfort personality, I guess. That's just my interpretation of like the personality that's supposed to bring you back to like, your safe space and everything.
Yeah, probably.
And that might also be, I mean, why she's also like drawn towards Goliath at times. Like it seems that way. I don't know.
Okay, what kind of a twist would it be if we find out that actually there weren't three gargoyles made and like it was only ever Coldstone and he just does have multiple personalities? And
I
like
would I would honestly like that a lot better than all
I'd
this
like
weird.
that so much
I would like
more.
that so much more than just the complicated like cuckold backstory that they're
I
implementing.
would love it if yeah, like every vision we've seen
Like
like has
like
just been conjured by himself to like
it's a
explain what's happening in his
DID.
head and really
It's
it's this other thing.
It's a DID induced from the trauma of having become a Frankenstein
Yeah.
creation.
Which does make sense. Okay, that's gonna be my new headcanon going forward.
Yeah, I
That
like that a lot better. I don't know how they did the weird VR stuff.
it
Maybe it was
doesn't
like
matter.
they were both in VR. Meant it was like they were in a VR like landscape like server, because that is a
Yes.
thing. They were in VR chat together,
They
and
were
that's
on
what happened.
E621 and that's how they all met. Okay, so she bites his hand. Iago like lets go of everybody. Everyone's flying around him. He's trying to grab them like King Khan, but they're too quick for him, and they're so little, and he's so big that he can't do it. Then more tentacles come up, but this time they grab onto him, and it's like, oh, it's his turn to get tentacle fucked now, and like they drag him down into their fiery whirlpool, and he's like, no. And I guess he
Oh my
dies.
goodness! Yeah,
He's
he's
dead
dead.
now.
Yeah, the virus got him.
Yep. So then, Goliath, Othello, Desdemona, the three of them land. Then the unspoken question is sort of like, okay, now what do we do? So Othello tells Goliath like he's got to leave, and Goliath's like, but what about you? And then Desdemona smiles at her boyfriend. She's like, we're finally together. That's all that matters. And there's more tentacles. They're fucking everywhere. They're gonna fuck everyone. Like Goliath's got to leave. He goes away. He runs towards the light.
Yeah, there's like this really cosmic sequence where he runs towards the clouds and the clouds like apparate and he leaves the VR
Yeah.
world.
So okay. So Goliath he comes back to himself. He's back in his meat body. Coldstone's still laying on the roof. The other gargoyles land and they're like, we can't hold them off anymore. And then Goliath's like, then let us leave this place. So he gets up. He like flicks his Cyclops visor off. He picks Coldstone up and he carries him in his arms. Visually, very similarly to that time that Coldstone also carried him in his arms. That one time, if you remember, that romantic moment that they shared.
I think I definitely think there is romantic implications between both Coldstone and Goliath's characters, because Coldstone is a literal physical representation of that thing from the past that Goliath wants to protect and hold sacred to himself. So,
Yeah,
hey, it's just me. I'm thinking that there might be some psychological romance between the two that neither can interpret because there's so much going on all the fucking time around them.
I agree. And Coldstone even developed a separate personality to like express how into Goliath he is.
Yeah,
But
pretty
like
much.
then like his main personality is like, oh no, I'm not gay. Like stop that other personality. I'm
I-
not gay like that. And the other personality is like,
Iago
yeah, you
isn't a
are.
real. Iago personality was just a manifestation of his internalized homophobia.
Oh my gosh,
Keeping.
I love this new interpretation. Like this makes so much more sense. I love
Yes.
this. This is so much better now.
I love looking at things under a queer lens
Like,
because
I
it's
was
just
gonna
like,
give this episode just a 2 loincloths out of 5, but I think I might bump it up to a 2.5, just
yeah.
because
See,
we've managed to fix it a little bit.
this is why I got enjoyment out of the episode is because I was interpreting shit my own accord. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking this actually represents this other thing and stuff. There's a lot of mind stuff going on here, and I understand the mind.
The
I'm,
mind.
I know the mind.
You're
I
like Jean
study the
Grey.
mind. I kinda
You're like
am.
Professor Xavier.
I kinda am. Yeah. Okay.
So they all fly away, and then like Matt and Elisa get there like 2 seconds later, and then Matt's like, "Oh, my stuff's just lying here on the roof," and I called in a whole SWAT team for no fucking reason. And Elisa's
there's like a
"Yeah,
rat
you're sort of
there.
an idiot."
No, like they go up to it. And there's like a rat, and it's like, oh, looks like the creature you're looking for is a rat. Matt's like, what? What?
Yeah, a rat took your stuff and swam across the Hudson River and got to this island.
I really do think like it should be addressed at some point that Matt got written up for fucking taking a whole ass SWAT team. They could have been out saving lives, and he's using them to try and get his gear. That's the thing that pissed me off the most this episode. Not the Cold Stone shit, not anything else, because I got my own fill out of that.
Yeah, I
But
mean, he was so convinced that like a gargoyle had taken it, so he was like, "I'm gonna show everyone that I'm not crazy." But like, what
This
story
is
did he tell like
Matt-
the SWAT team though? Because he
Matt-
didn't tell them that they were off to find gargoyles, did he?
Matt is the equivalent of like the annoying little brother who's always trying. Like he's like Candace from Phineas and Ferb.
Okay,
like
you say Candace. I was about to say Ferguson from Clarissa Explains It All, but like, yeah, they both have a similar energy to them.
like they just are desperately trying to convince others that this thing is happening, and then he
Yeah.
can never get to them in time. And it's like, oh, you're just comic relief,
They're gonna bust.
but you're
these
really
gargoyles.
annoying about it.
He's gonna bust all over them one of these days.
Yeah, I mean he does. I think with Goliath in that episode where they team up.
Okay, we're almost at the end.
We're at the end, pretty much.
We have one scene. We're at Castle Wyvern in Xanatos' office, and we see beautiful Owen, and he's just there saying how they were able to acquire the remains of Recap after Coldstone fucking lasered it and then threw it out a window, which was easy to do since they supplied Recap to the police in the first place. Remember that logo from earlier? This is where it comes back.
Oh.
And then there's another crazy fucking thing. So when Recap tasered Coldstone, it was able to download the government virus that was in Coldstone through its taser.
No.
wires?
You have it backwards. It uploaded the virus into Coldstone by zapping him.
No, I don't think that happened because they're talking about how they've acquired the virus here, and then Xanatos is like, this virus is deadlier than like any weapon specs that we could have stolen from Golden Cup.
They talk about how deadly it is, but it's like the two personalities are still kind of just like alive in Coldstone. He's just like comatose or whatever.
What I think happened was that Xanatos reactivated Coldstone from like the bottom of the bay and like had him run this mission for him because he wanted the defense specs, but then in doing so he got infected with that virus which hadn't been planned, and then when Recap was trying to taser Coldstone, it was supposed to take the weapon specifications that Coldstone had downloaded into itself, but instead of doing that it took the virus instead, and so now Xanatos has this virus. And I honestly, I don't remember if the virus ever comes back or not. Like, I feel like it does, but I don't remember where.
Honestly, Xanatos
Does
is
it
all
lead
according
into
to
Matrix or something?
This is one of Xanatos' more confusing all according to plan scenes.
Well,
in
like,
my
usually
opinion.
he has a scene where like he sort of lays out what happens that we can be like, oh,
Because that's what
okay.
this
But, like,
is, essentially, but it's like, it seems so weird.
Yeah, like he lays it out in a more confusing way than it already
Like,
was.
because he's trying to make himself look like he's gained something out of this, like he's won, but it seems like more to me like a bunch of shit happened, and it's just hard to keep track of it all.
Yeah, I like honestly, I don't really know like what his deal was. Like that's not the reason this episode is a low rating for me. Just I don't understand it very well. I'm just like, okay, this happened and
They
that
just wanted
happened.
an excuse to have like a cool virus psychedelic space world.
That's true. Like every show in this era had like at least one like crazy virtual reality episode because it was like the hot thing to
It
do.
almost reminded me of like that clip from that episode you showed me where Xavier's like trying to like enter like Sabretooth's mind. Like that it kind of looks like
Yeah.
one of those sequences from
And then
X-Men where
Xavier keeps saying, like, let me in, Sabretooth. Let me in. And Sabretooth's like, ah.
he's just like
That
angry
episode.
animal noises the entire time, which is
He's
just
like, I'm
usual.
the top. I don't let anyone into my ass. And Xavier's like, you
That's
must
just
let me
usual.
in.
The usual Sabretooth, just like every scene he's in, that's he's just angry animal noises.
Yeah. But okay, so that happened with Xanatos. Let us know if this virus ever comes back, people. Just I honestly do not remember
Yeah,
at
I
all.
don't know, and I don't
Um,
think I don't know.
do crazy tentacle porn viruses ever factor into the show again? But then for the very last scene, we see everyone back at the clock tower. Coldstone has been like laid out, I guess, and he's just still like not moving. And Goliath says something like, "Well, he hopes that he sees them again someday, like his brother and his sister, who are now inhabiting this body. And when he does, they'll be among friends again." And then we just see a shot of Othello and Desdemona. They're flying over a beautiful field of tentacles that are all trying to have sex with them while romantic music plays. The end.
Okay, yeah, that was Legion, everybody.
Woohoo!
Okay, so
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 before you started watching this episode, did you remember any of it?
no, like
Okay, so you're
literally,
like me. Like
you think I
that's right.
would?
You said you didn't watch it in the first place. I feel like
Yeah,
maybe you did watch it, but it's just like a weird episode that just purged itself from your brain. Maybe.
I think it's possible. I mean, I feel like I would have remembered like the space like looking area because I hyperfixate on space looking areas a lot, as you probably know. Like I like psychedelic art and stuff like that. So I feel like if I had seen this episode, I would have definitely remembered that. But
Yeah, like I
no,
remember
yeah,
the virtual reality stuff. I don't remember much else. Like I knew that it was a Coldstone episode, and but I didn't like it. Or like my two
before
main takeaways before I started watching again.
before Coldstone was even introduced, I was like, I don't really remember a lot about Coldstone, you know?
So maybe that's because you missed this episode then.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Because I don't think he comes
Um,
up again until like the world tour.
oh my god, so he's just sitting in that clock tower in a coma for like
I don't remember
the
if
rest of the
and when he
season.
does. Like I know he comes back at some point, but I don't know when. I know it's going to be a while.
He's just like
Oh,
gonna be chilling in the clock tower's like supply cabinet.
yeah. Anyway,
Anyways, okay, so I do we have any more thoughts before we give our ratings and our other thoughts?
um, no. Do you have any thoughts?
No. What would you rate this episode out of 5 loincloths?
Okay, so like I said before, originally I was going to give it 2 loincloths, because I did not think this episode was very good. However, I will bump it up to 2.5 loincloths, because we did come up with a headcanon I feel like did fix many issues that I originally did have.
Yeah.
Um, I will say I thought this definitely wasn't animated by like their best team, but I did think the visuals looked very good in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Like not because they were animated really well, but just because like they depicted very interesting things.
Yeah,
Like the
I
VR part was really cool looking.
mhm.
So I did like that aspect a lot. Like character animation wasn't very good, but it was suitable. It was fine.
Yeah.
But I think like just it being about Coldstone, who's never been a character who excites me, plus Matt Bluestone being a prominent figure, and also being a boring character to me, like I think that just dragged it down in my estimation. So that's the reason for my ratings. How about you, Sid? What would you rate this out of 5 loincloths?
Um, I mean, I enjoyed it. I was entertained by it, but it's like, you have a lot of great points as well. Um, I think it wasn't coherent enough for me to follow at times, and the times I could follow it, I had to kind of come up with my own theory to make the episode more important in my eyes.
Yes.
Um, but I think if that is the case, then the episode kind of failed in that sense. I'm willing to give
Yeah,
it.
like if we have to fix the episode ourselves, then
Mm-hmm. I'm willing to give it three loincloths, just kind of in between everything.
okay. I will also say it was nice to see Lexington like being really
Oh yeah,
skilled, like
yeah. We didn't
technically
talk
and
about
stuff like
that.
that. Like that was cool. Just to see
Mm-hmm.
him being useful. I always enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, yeah. I like how he takes initiative too.
Yes, and he
And
just wanted to
Broadway
get
and Brooklyn are
inside
kind of they're kind of
Coldstone.
pushed off to the side this episode. Even Hudson's got more lines than they do this
Yeah,
episode.
they got like maybe like 2 lines each, but you know it can't always be about them. Sadly, I wish it could be because they're the best. But
Uh Broadway and Brooklyn.
yeah, and Lex and Hudson
Yeah,
and Goliath.
I kind of have a hard time picking who's the best. I was like, I've never heard you say like Brooklyn and Broadway are the best, and that was like shocking to me.
I just meant the trio in general was the best.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha. Because yeah, I get you. Okay, so and next episode we are going to have a Hudson solo episode, I believe.
Oh wait, what's next episode?
I believe it is a good one. Let me just double check. I believe I
Oh
know
wait,
the
is it the
title.
lighthouse one?
Yes, it is. It is
Oh, okay. I have been looking forward to
a
that.
lighthouse in the sea of time. Which I
Yes.
knew the title. I was just afraid I would say it wrong, so I was like holding back. I'm
Okay,
like,
there's a
wait.
really good bondage scene in that episode. So okay,
Yes, I
I'm
think
really
it. I
looking
think
forward to it
I know
now.
the one you're talking about, and it's
Yeah,
with
I know you
Hudson.
do.
And I love anything with Hudson in it. He's like my favorite.
That'll be cool. Okay, maybe we'll give that a higher rating than we did this one. But
Yeah,
speaking of bondage and other such things, what was the hottest moment in this episode when the animators just got too horny for their own good, and they just had to draw like their weird kinks into this very innocent children's show?
think okay, so I think the horniest thing they did was not only like have Goliath wrapped up in tentacles, but have like the
Like
weird villain
constantly.
guy. The weird villain guy turn into a macro giant and then step on the two men and
Oh my
try to
god. Okay, I love
yeah.
that I sent that cap to you as a joke, but you actually did fixate on it as being hot.
I don't personally I can't get into it like a lot. I can see the appeal though, but like in terms of the animators like horniest moment, I would say that's it. Personally for me, my
Yeah.
brain like really kind of like elevated. I don't know why, but like I kind of got that like tingly feeling in my brain where it's like, okay, I'm this is serotonin. I like this. Where Coldstone, like his female personality took over and started talking with Goliath, and it was like, it
Oh.
was so interesting to see just a male character with all this, testosterone, muscles, lipped, wrinkled lips, cyborg machinery, very ugly, just male character act all of a sudden, like this feminine sort of tone with another male character. It
Yeah.
definitely read off as homosexual to
And
me.
like it wasn't played for laughs at all. Like none of the other characters
No.
even like really reacted to it or like thought it was unusual. Like it was just sort of like a part of the scene at that moment. So I appreciated that too.
Yeah, no, like this episode wasn't good, but that scene definitely I would call good.
Yeah.
Um maybe it could have been embellished on some more, but I'm not, it's a 90s kid show. I'm not going to complain.
Maybe in the eventual remake that we're definitely getting one day, they will add
Oh
more to that.
god. Yeah, I mean, I would be interested but afraid if that were to happen. But like, I would seriously though, like, I would enjoy to see what kind of changes they might make or things they might add on.
Like I said before, like I do think that Coldstone their pronouns should be they them, and I think that would be a
Hmm.
really cool thing to like add for a
I
new version of the show.
I feel like Coldstone is gender fluid, and I feel like they could probably respond to a lot of kind of pronouns. But I do see your point, and I do agree with you. Um, okay, but what else was I talking about? Oh yeah, so
Hot things.
yeah, the horniest animators moment. Okay, definitely just the macro scene. I couldn't with
The
that.
macro scene. Okay,
Yeah,
I like you. I also have Goliath getting like endlessly wrapped in tentacles.
yeah,
I
yeah.
also put notes on the part where he was like very daily wrestling with Coldstone,
Mm-hmm.
and Coldstone was like on top, and they were like grinding together.
Mm-hmm.
The moment when Hudson like felt up Coldstone's chest for no apparent reason, but was all like
Yeah.
smirking and like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump on this dick later."
I see your titties are still in good shape, lad. And then he just like squeezes them.
Uh huh.
And then he's just like, "Oh my god, you old fucking pervert."
So like, I liked all of that, but like probably the tentacles for me is where I'd have to give it to them because there was a lot. There was a lot of tentacles.
Yeah. So, yeah. I guess that's really all the input I have cuz oh, and I think horniest for me, I just remembered just seeing between Coldstone's thighs a lot. Just
Oh, I
like
forgot about that one too.
that really sent me. That definitely was the thing that I was horniest about, I think. And it was weird because it's like I don't even know like I'm not even like attracted to Coldstone per se,
Okay,
but
but when we were talking before the episode, you were like, "Why do I want to go down on Coldstone?" Like you were so
no,
like it was
but
a
I
new
do
thing for
though.
you.
I would cuz it's like he's very unconventionally like unattractive. Like he's not like he's very just ugly looking, but I find that the fact that he has like I don't know. It's just like I don't know. Maybe I'm a robot fucker. Who cares? Who
I
cares?
mean, we're all robot fuckers. Part of us
Yeah.
are.
Okay, Croup. I've never seen you talk about robot characters with me. I don't think, but
Cable from the X Men.
he's like a cyborg.
Oh, you want a
I
straight
get
up robot? Okay.
okay. No. Okay. But in that case, Coldstone's
No,
also a
that one from
cyborg.
Appleseed. Everyone wants to
Oh
fuck that
yeah,
robot
everybody wants to fuck
because they
Appleseed. Like,
drew him
come
like
on.
with an ass.
Yeah, they
Is it
did. They did.
Brieros? Whatever his name is.
They knew they were making like a robot sex icon when they made Appleseed.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I guess horniest moment for me was scene between Coldstone's thighs.
So
Um,
there's a lot of horny moments in this episode. We have a good variety to pick
yes.
from. Who
Um,
is
the
gay?
gayest character.
Who is it?
Coldstone as a singular entity produced the most like LGBT themed personality quirks in my opinion.
Yes, I agree with you. Coldstone was my pick as well.
He like him being in the show every time he's in it, he makes Goliath seem less heterosexual, and I like that a lot. Like it's
He
an
makes
interesting
Goliath be
aspect.
like submissive around him, or
Yeah.
Goliath like just goes into sub mode because like he wants Coldstone to like dom him. It's actually sort of really cute.
No, yeah, I do ship them low key. I know Goliath and Elisa are the OTP, but it's like I still think him and Coldstone like have some romantic potential.
Yeah, they're old flames, and
You know,
they're gonna rekindle that.
it's like I said, like the female personality is drawn towards Goliath, the male personality is drawn towards Goliath, but just suffering from that manifested homophobia, but still is tackling him nonetheless in his fantasies. It's
Makes you
just
think.
that it does make you think. There's a lot of psychological fixation, regardless. And Goliath, sees in Coldstone, variant of the past that he wants to attempt and rekindle with his new clan.
I do give a special mention to the virus Xanatos.
Oh
The computer
yeah.
program Xanatos too,
Oh
because Xanatos made sure to
yeah.
program his virtual self to also be gay for Goliath and want to humiliate him. So I
Yeah,
just thought that
that
was
was pretty good.
I thought that was an interesting thing that he would like make sure to do. He'd be like, "No, Owen, make him gayer." make him gayer, Owen. And Owen's like, I've already made him as gay as I can, sir. It's like, just try harder.
Okay, so since we are at the hour and 40-minute mark on my end, I think we should probably wrap this up and do some emails.
Yes, okay, we have 3 emails.
We we do. I was just looking at them. Where did I put them? Shit.
I haven't
I
read
was
any of them, so they're all going to be a complete
Okay,
surprise.
okay. I'm going to read them right now for us, because I
Okay.
have it open. So, okay, the 12-11 one, that was like before or after? Okay, that was after. Okay, so, Legion by, who is this? Oh, it's Artizek. Okay, I'm gonna censor it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you might want to
censor
censor that
out.
part.
Yeah, I don't know why I just did that. I was like trying to talk, and it gave me a headache, and I just said his name. Okay, so Archizek sent us an email, and he says to us, "Holy shit, I forgot about this episode entirely. I know Gargoyles is far
We
fetched.
all did.
Yeah, but can you imagine if this episode was your introduction to the show? My god, you'd have no idea what was happening. I remember cyber terrorism and VR made its way into a ton of media in the 90s. Nobody I knew could tell me what an actual computer virus was or what it could do, but that didn't matter because it was just cool and kind of scary, and we were all fascinated by it. Can a virus hack your brain? Maybe. Do you need a VR headset to get rid of it? Sure, why not? Legion is just dripping with that, and I can't tell if I hate or love it. Likewise, I can't tell if I hate or love all the meme-tastic faces Goliath makes this entire episode. I guess all the budget went into those Sarlacc pit tentacles. I'm super excited for the next episode, A Lighthouse in the Sea of Time, one of my personal favorites. Keep up the good work, Artizak.
Well, Artizet, I agree with everything that you just said. Yeah, like this was a very 90s thing to do with like
This
all the
was a
computer
very
stuff.
WTF episode, I'd say.
Yes. And I think like yeah, like the general public still didn't really understand computers very well and like I feel like definitely the writers of that time sort of capitalized on that by not feeling like they needed to ever make any sense when they did computer stuff in their shows.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree and I appreciate the Sarlacc pit reference.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for that email, Artizak. We always appreciate it.
Let's see. There's one from Vin Store, I see. Who okay,
Um,
is regular email Vin. Would you like
yes,
me to read
yes.
it?
You can read that one, yes,
Okay.
mostly because my throat's tired, even though I haven't been
Okay.
talking.
Let's give you a break. It says, Hey, 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 it's me, Vin. I'm back. It's been a hot minute, but I'm here to talk Gargoyles. We're in season 2. I've only seen 8 episodes of it so far, and they're all quality entertainment, except for episode 3. Okay, let's get to it. Episode 2. Oh, okay, so we're talking about,
I
last
but
episode, the Maggie one. Despite the whole gestures at Brooklyn and Maggie mess, I actually had fun with this episode. I was just enjoying watching Brooklyn be a simp and everyone else clowning on him for it. And I'm bringing back my previous joke, because we all know damn well Brooke was so after Maggie because she's got those electric powers.
yeah,
And
that is absolutely. I agree with that.
And call me Derek Mazza, because my stupid ass was fooled by our boy David. I don't know how I didn't catch it before the actual reveal in the episode, but y'all should have seen me. It made me genuinely angry. I was fuming. It was hilarious. And whoo boy, the final shot being Elisa in tears was just heartbreaking, and quite a choice to end an episode on. I had so much fun listening to y'all just drag Maggie's name through the mud, and I know absolutely nothing about the mutates, but what I heard of Fang and Claw from you makes me like them.
Yeah, that episode, I hated that one. I did not have fun with it. I'm glad some others did. I'm glad,
See,
but
but we
I,
love to hate it though, don't we? Don't we?
I guess because it's my negative fixation is on Maggie and just any episode she's in.
Episode 3. So okay, now we're back to talking about Legion. This one was just the most nothing episode. Dumbass conflicts that stems from some fuck stirring the pot and causing the absolutely most nothing plot. Because when I want to watch a show, there's nothing that makes me more bored than dumb hetero drama. That's literally all I have to say about this episode.
Oh my
Vin,
god.
your opinion is valid. There was a lot of hetero nonsense in this episode.
Yeah,
But if you
yeah, but
subscribe
like,
to our newsletter, where we talk about how his different personalities are actually just literal personalities he's made for himself, that will solve your hetero problem and make Coldstone very gay and
if
queer.
you look at it from the perspective that Coldstone is a queer coded character suffering with a very real mental illness that gets plagiarized in media a lot, you find a newfound sense of appreciation for this episode.
Yes.
Other than that, yeah, you just like God, the way he just brutalized this episode in his
I
email,
I
dumbass
enjoyed that.
conflict that stems from fuck stirring the pot. Like, Jesus Christ.
I mean,
That's,
that is pretty much what it is.
yeah, I mean, he's not wrong, but I still had fun with this one rather than the other one.
Okay, let me just wrap up this email out. If I had to rank these episodes, 2 would get 3 loincloths, and episode 3 would get half a
Oh my
loincloth.
God!
Genuinely a waste of my time.
Jesus, we haven't even gone to half a
I
loincloth
love
yet.
it. No, we haven't, but we will one day. And you'll better prepare for when we get to episode 5, because I will be insufferable. That's like my favorite episode so far.
Which
That's
one is
all from me
episode
for now. Have a
5?
nice
Oh,
day.
The Mirror is episode 5.
Okay, the mirror isn't like my
The
top.
Mirror,
Like it's
that's
close to the top of the best episodes ever.
that
So,
is
yeah.
one of the best episodes in the show.
Yes. So
Okay,
Vin,
so
we will
we
agree
are
with you. Be
we are
heartened.
looking at a slight, not just a slight, but a major like uppage in the next couple episodes in quality.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them because we've been in a bit of a dip at the start of this season.
Yeah, we started out beautifully. Then we had fucking the Maggie episode.
Yeah, then this one, but you know they're gonna get. We're on a rising motion now. We're going up this hill. It'll be great. Just wait,
Yep,
everybody.
yep, absolutely. Okay, so last email we have by I believe that's Remy.
Oh, Remy.
All right, and he says to us, "Hello again, Loincloth Hour crew. Here's hoping you guys are well and that Sid has kicked COVID to the curb. As far as I know, yes, I have. I've
Yay!
been feeling
Glad you're
fine
feeling
for the
better.
past
No,
few weeks.
no lawn COVID, thankfully.
No more long COVID. I'm healthy again." And he also says once again, thank you. By the way, I forgot to say thank you. He also proceeds in the email. Once again, you guys are taking a generally bad episode and making it a fun one with your podcast. There are a lot of funny moments, a lot of moments that had me totally agreeing with your assessments. Mainly everything having to do with dumbass Derek, and it still annoys me that he and Fane looked almost identical in this episode. Yeah, I agree. Brooklyn and his going stalker simp with savior complex, and an especially useless Maggie. All the dislike being rightfully heaped on her was cathartic and then some. Thank goodness she doesn't appear much in the show. We don't have to tolerate her awfulness too much. On the other hand, I really liked all the attention you gave Fane and Claw, especially the whole thing of them fucking constantly. It got a lot of good thoughts and laughs out of me.
It was sort of incredible how much we talked about them when they like basically don't do anything that whole episode.
Listen. I need to just express that I needed a positive light to fixate on to
Yeah, we did.
separate from the negative. So that's why we talked about it a lot, I think. Mostly from me, but yeah. And now for the timeline bit for this episode. And it fits with what you guys said about all the awakening scenes of the Gargoyles. Specifically, Maggie escapes on the evening of September 7th, and by the end of the episode, when all four mutates flee, it's September 11th, and we don't see the mutates again until December. Which
Okay.
makes one wonder what they were doing that whole time.
They were fucking.
Yeah. And the year is 1995, so to fill you in a bit more, actually on their ages, from youngest to oldest, Maggie was born in 1975.
Okay, so she's 20.
Derek was born in 1970.
Okay, so he's 25.
Fane was born in 1968.
Okay, so he's 27.
And Claw's officially in DILF status, being born in 54.
Yeah, 41 years old.
Oh my
and the hottest
god.
person, too.
Oh my god. I want to fuck Claw so badly. Oh my
Yeah, you do.
god.
We all do.
Oh my god. I can't believe it. Just reading that, it was so satisfying. Thank you for that,
Okay, do you
Remy.
just not like get turned on just reading characters' ages? Is that what happened just now?
I have a fetish for older men. So yeah, like hearing that a guy is like older than me significantly and is like also super hot. It's a plus. It's a huge plus.
Good
I
for
don't know
Fang
why.
getting on that dick though.
Oh my god, Fang's just like
He's a role model.
oh my god. They were probably he's like I said, Claw's probably the protective older boyfriend to Fane when they're both homeless, and it's just like yeah, they that's how they did their thing before they were mutates.
Aw.
Um and now time for next episode Legion, and it's dot 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 a Cold Stone episode. Dang it, I don't know what it is about Coldstone. The concept behind him is such an interesting one, but Coldstone himself is kind of dull. Especially with the
Uh-huh.
whole three soul scene. It's just two gargoyles in love with the third being an asshole simp for the female, so there's not much depth there. As such, this episode was. Hey, I will say this before I continue reading, though. Um, there isn't much depth in a lot of, like, traditional media. I mean, hell, like, Shakespeare, his most basic works are actually under a queer subtext under the right lens. You could gain an enjoyment out of a piece of literature by looking at it from like the subject you are most comfortable with is my opinion. I think there's ways to get enjoyment,
Yeah,
not
I think there's
just
definitely ways to draw enjoyment from something that seems very simple on first blush and sort of turn it
yeah.
around and be like, well, what if it was like this though?
I
And
kind
you're
of
like,
I lost my
ah.
point halfway through that tangent. There isn't a lot of depth on the surface. I will agree with that, especially because the whole thing about Coldstone having three souls inside him comes kind of out of nowhere, and I
Thank
wish they would have
you.
at least hinted at it in his debut episode.
Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
we
there was so
definitely.
much going on in that debut episode, but like it would have been. I do wish we could have had something to make it not seem so out of the blue for this
I
one.
think without the limitations of it being like a animated 90s children's show, um I think just like beyond those limitations it could have produced a lot more.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Did I render you speechless?
Uh oh, you can't hear me.
No, I can hear you now, but you were
Oh,
quiet for a second there.
okay. I've been talking for a little bit now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I hope it didn't mess up the recording. I'm sure it's fine. It's fine.
I
Everything's
think
fine.
I think we're fine. We're
Yeah.
fine. We're fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so as such, this blah 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 blah. Okay, so then we also have to put up with Blandstone in this episode, which sure as hell didn't make it any better. On the plus side, we have Lexington playing a big role with his tech savvy, so that was a treat. Plus, it was nice to see almost the whole clan come together by the end to deal with the situation. Though that makes me wonder, Hudson landed on the back of Elisa and Matt's boat to run Indifference, but then how did the boats behind him not see him at all?
Yeah,
I
like
get that it was
wouldn't they have
nighttime, but
seen
really,
him?
I don't know.
I thought that was very weird too.
I didn't even think of that. Holy shit.
Because he was making Matt's boat like sort of like swerve around and like almost hit the other boats, but like his boat's also in
He's
front of
just
everyone.
like getting
So wouldn't they
right in
have
front of
seen
all the
Hudson
other
there?
SWAT team boats. Like, hey boys, look what I can do.
That he probably just got written up for that too, because he can't ride a freaking boat correctly.
You let an old gargoyle man try to drive your boat from behind the boat, Matt. That's endangerment of a civilian. I have to write you up for that. Anyways, he
Several
continues.
spankings.
I get that it was nighttime, he says, but really not a single bit of light from the other boats was shone on him. Weird. And the timeline for this episode is short and quick, taking place on the September 20th and 21st. However, between Metamorphosis and Legion, a few things happen, such as Xanatos being officially inducted into a certain society on the 14th, and a certain
Oh.
someone approaching him on the 18th that sets up for the iconic City of Stone arc, which I'm very much looking forward to you guys covering. That should be all for this email. You guys be well, take care, and thanks for being awesome.
Oh, thank you for being awesome.
Thank you, Remy.
I
That was a
love
really nice email. We always
yes.
love your
I
emails.
love his emails. I've loved every email we've received today. They're
Yeah,
all
he's just a
great.
great guy.
You should join our Discord.
He
In
should.
fact, everyone should join our Discord. It's the Loincloth Hour Discord, which is always linked from our Twitter account. And
Yeah,
we have a pretty good crew of fun people. We have movie nights every once in a while, where we watch
yes,
like weird art films and
which I love.
laugh at them or get
Mm-hmm.
inspired by them,
I p-
depending.
Sometimes I'll post my horny thoughts in there too, but that's only for like their server's only for 18 and up. I'm not the only one. Other people I just kind of join in on like what other people are dishing out.
I
I'm
mean,
just
it's a
like,
community
yeah.
for a horny podcast, so yeah, you can expect some horniness in our
We're a
Discord as
very
well.
pro pornographic podcast.
Yes.
Like we're pro sex. We're pros at sex.
Like
And
I
we're pro
said,
sex.
I'm just seeing the image you sent me while we were recording of Goliath wearing the Cyclops visor, and it just says Oculus,
It's
and there's like
it's
the logo for it and everything. Oh my god.
I posted that to Twitter while we were recording too. Let me check on it right now. It's got like 5 likes and nothing else. That's
Wow.
it.
Yeah, that's about what I would expect.
People don't understand quality when they see it. It's not my problem.
Your genius will be recognized one day. So, Archer, do we have any final thoughts on Legion, or are we just glad that we got through it and we never have to think about it ever again?
Um, you know, this is the first episode where I've gone the entire episode without mentioning Wolf once.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wait. I'm
yeah.
thinking. I don't think you did ever mention
No,
him. Would you
no,
like to mention him now?
I think I realized that halfway through, and I just wanted to see how long I could keep putting that off.
You did mention him earlier today when we were sending pictures back and forth of this episode.
Yeah, but
I
not
sent you.
that's that's you and me though. That's not the podcast. That's
Would you like me to read though what you said?
yeah.
I have to go back up and find it. One
It,
second.
it, it wouldn't be too hard. It was like a few
Okay,
hours
so
ago.
I had sent Sid a picture of Lexington wearing his headset that he wears in this episode, and like Brooklyn and Broadway are there too. And the caption I put over it was just Lex saying slurs on Xbox Live. But then that wasn't enough for Sid. He posited an alternative caption, which was phone sex operator.
That's literally all I said. I didn't say anything. I'm
Oh,
just like no.
then you also went on to say, let's see, yeah, that's really good. Now cradle my freshly beaten body in your strong muscles. Mind if I ask what your name was again? This session was hot. And then you say, Wolf, sweating nervously and jerking off naked in his bed on the other line. My name is Bill.
God damn it.
So, okay, well, I don't want a single episode go by where you don't mention Wolf in some way, even if I have to mention him for you. So now,
I think that's what we just did.
yeah,
That's what
we had
just
to get that
happened.
in.
We did. I'm glad. Thank you for that.
Okay, I am Manicorn. You can find me at Spankacorn on Twitter, Croup on Fur Affinity, on Manicorn on Patreon, and the Manly Unicorn on Archive of Her Own. You can look at funny, hot, spanking fiction of all kinds on any of those places, and you'll have a good old time. I guarantee it. Sid, where can we
Yeah.
find you?
You can find me on Sid Scripts on Twitter. You can find me as Alistair Alderman on Fur Affinity. And I have other sources and resource. I'm pretty much everywhere.
You're
Like,
open
you don't
for
even.
writing commissions now, aren't you?
Oh, I am open for writing commissions because I quit my job.
Yeah, so you could use some income, and I bet
I
people out there
could.
could use some cool or maybe even hot stories.
I think they could. There's a few people who I owe some stories that I'm going to get in touch with very soon. But yeah, no, we are absolutely going to do that. I'm going to
So
open writing commissions,
commission
I mean.
Sid. Do it. Do it
I will,
now.
as long as, it's 18 and up, uh, I will pretty much write anything.
Maybe I should commission you.
Maybe. I don't, that is up to you, my friend. The ball is in your court.
Maybe I should have this ball rolling. But okay, we'll talk about that
Maybe.
outside this podcast. Uh, is there anything else?
I think that's it. We can sign off.
Thank you for
We
checking out our show today about
thank
Coldstone flying
you.
around with a rocket on his back
He has a headphone jack in his fucking neck. What the
to
actual
listen to
fuck?
his iPod. What kind of music does Coldstone listen to?
Industrial metal.
Okay,
That's it.
episode's
That's
over
it.
now.